Howdy folks, welcome back. This is number 11 in the series of the minigame here. I guess we could just call it episode 11, right? But yeah, anyway, we're going to continue with our doing stuff here and basically improving the gameplay and everything and the graphics and stuff. And so one of the things I wanted to do on here is this 33 isn't very responsive, and this is really this is not so much a matter of the overall design of the game being a problem, but it's just that when you use this sleep thing, it kind of just shuts off the whole thing for that long, and it's like non-responsive or whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump that down to 10, and then we're going to go like add this up to like maybe 24, and the player timer, let's see, why don't we try 10 and we'll see how that works. But I just want to see how the player timer works. And so the other thing I did is I actually went through, there we go, can we actually move? Okay, it's doing this weird thing again. Alright, that's kind of odd. But yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. But anyway, the other thing I did is I put the yellow outlines on these things just so they were a little bit easier to see. I know the graphics aren't the best, but let's see if this goes back to playable if we put it at, there we go, if we put it at 10. Yeah, I'm not sure why the player was jerking back and forth so much, and now that these guys are too. And apparently it's a function of the thing being so slow or whatever. It's a function of the timer that they're working with. Apparently them not being able to adjust their movement very often. You know what? I think we had this fixed at a number, didn't we? Let's go back to 8 and let's just see. Let's see if they stop doing that. If we have, there we go. The player's locked in here, isn't he? All right. So yeah, they're doing a little bit of this thing, but honestly, this is more supposed to be like a demo of the concept anyway. And so we'll see if we can mess around with that later, maybe in some debugging time. But for right now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make the enemies, because we've got different directions for them. We've got the player A, B, C, and D. And so if we look at it, the A is up, the B is to the right, and the C is downward, and the D is to the left. And so we want to actually check and see which direction they're moving and and have them face that direction. So we're going to go to where the enemies are moving, which is going to be here, right? Yep, this is the enemies. And so what we want to do is we want to get this figured out. And so we're going to find out which direction the enemy is moving. And let's see, we have right here, we have enemy X and enemy previous X. And so this will tell us our direction. So we're going to go like this, X direction. Yeah, we're going to go, is that going to be int? I'm just trying to think of, these are ints. Okay, so we're going to go int X direction equals this stuff right here. So we're going to go like that and take the parentheses out here. And so is that going to be, I'm just looking if that's going to be a, yeah, that's going to be an int minus an int. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm just trying to think of which way we want to do this, because we want to do less than 0 or greater than 0. And we're going to have 4 different conditions. So we're going to go if let's see, this xdir greater than 0, then we're going to be going to the right. And so that's going to be, we're going to do this bitmap, resources enemy A. So I'm just trying to decide whether we want to put all this in there, or we would just want to use a variable and then draw the variable name. And you know what I mean, a pointer to whichever resource this is. And it looks like it's a bitmap. I'm trying to think if that bitmap is going to be a pointer or what. Why don't we do bitmap? I'm just thinking this is not going to end up as a pointer, and so it's going to basically make a copy of it. I'm not positive about that. Properties, resources. Yeah. Okay, why don't we just do this then? We're going to put this here. And we're going to put this stuff below here. So we're going to go like this. Because we're also, since we're calculating this once, we don't need to use this again. And so we can just go xdir, right? And we can do the same thing with y direction. So we can go like this, y direction, and we can take these extra parentheses out, and we can go int equals that. Okay, so now we're going to go, if it's greater than 0, we're going to the right, and we want to do B. Correct? Enemy B? Yes. Just looking at the resources here, so you can see them in here. A, B, C, and D. So we're going to go B, and then we're going to go else if x direction is less than 0. We're going to go D. And then we're going to do the same thing twice more. We're going to go if y direction is less than 0 and greater than 0. And then we're going to go, it's less than 0, then it's heading upward. So that's going to be A. And then this one is going to be C. There we go. And so this should have us, let's see if it comes out right. There we go. There we go. So see, now they're showing which direction they're moving, and we're going to do the same thing with the player. Yep, good. So we're going to do the same thing with the player and make the player show up. We're going to make the player show up as, let me see, as moving in one of these directions. So we have the same thing here. So we have an xdir and a ydir. So we can go int equals, and then we could go this, and is that going to give us problems because we're using the same variable name? We can do this xd and take this out, and we go yd, int yd equals all of that. Okay, and then we can do the same thing over here. So draw x equals this, and then so we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're going to put in if xd and yd, and then we're going to do player blue. So that's what we're going to put in here instead of this. There we go. And we're going to take this out because we don't need to draw the player now. in that way. We're going to draw it here. And so it looks like we are good. I mean, we could probably even just do int xdir and ydir there, but that's fine. I can clean that up later if I want to. But let's just see how this works. Make sure the player moves the way it's supposed to. Nice. Okay, so if the player is not moving, it doesn't draw it at all. Okay, that's why we're having that stuff disappear. So we can go else, and we can draw, and we're going to draw the pointing up one, I think. So that's going to be A. So we're just going to do A. And we're going to do the same thing here. And what we can do actually is we can put A last. Why don't we just do this? Because we can put A last. And we can just take out that. So see what we did is, and now it just draws A whenever none of the other things are there. So we just go like this, and that saves us an extra if statement. There we go. So now we should be able to, it should, yeah, see, it's drawing it already. And of course, so this is one of the other things we need to definitely do is make sure that there is a path to the from the start to the finish, and clear out that corner, because it does this all the time. Is like we need to remove all four. That why don't we just do that right now? We're gonna go. Where is the knit blocks main loop? I know we did this last time where it wasn't the. Let's see, player move, set rules, where is it? Because it's not the int. Tick count equals 0 is calculating. So where is that again? Where is the draw? Let's find our draw, paint, pick repaint. Cell tick, there we go. So we want to go to that, go to definition. Okay. And we're going to do all of this. And where's it doing that? Because we need to find our final run through this. So it's going to calculate all of the blocks, and then it's going to copy it back, and then it goes back. Okay. So that's in, where'd it go? Let's do our thing that's calling it again. If, okay. So that it's showing, and here is our init enemies. Okay, so this is where we want to do this. We want to go like this. And we also want to fix maze. And so we're going to make a function called fix maze. And what we want to do is in this function, we want to check the block, what's that going to be? I comma j or x comma y, right? X comma y equals false. And so we're going to go for x equals 0. Do we want to go 1? Yeah. X is less than 6 maybe? So we'll basically do off an entrance that's like a 1 to 5 maybe. And so we can do the same thing. Y equals 1. Y is less than 6. Y plus plus. And we'll do the same thing there. And then we can have it do that. We can also have it do a flood fill to find out if there's a path to the finish. So that's the other thing we need to do, is check and make sure that there's an actual way to get from the start to the finish. I mean, we could be mean and just let it not do that. Why did it not do that? Let's figure out what just happened here. It is running this, and I'm just wondering if it runs that one more time. No, it doesn't look like it. So, because the block is false means it should be open. So, cell tick, and we're doing that. There's our, okay, that's not really telling me whether it's on or off. So we're just going to run this and see what happens when it gets to that point. Okay, so these are all false. Okay, so 1, 1 equals true. So when we set this, this should become false, right? It is setting it to false. So somewhere after this is where it's, I'm sure there's somewhere after that this, let's go like this. Let me see, what is the continue? And let's see what it's doing after this. And then enemies, and I'm just not sure where it's doing this stuff. Where is it changing the blocks? Let's go, can we go step out? Is that step over, step into, step out? There we go. Okay, so maze calculated. So it shouldn't be changing any of the stuff anymore, right? So why don't we go add watch, block, and let's see what our values are on here. 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4. Okay, so they're all false now. Is it actually, because see on here it's not showing as false. Okay, so let's see if we can, whoops. That was weird. Let's see if we can pause it here. So why is the, oh, you know what? We've got the maze background is calculated. That's probably what's happening, is when it's done, it is making the maze background. Let's find references to that. And that is calculating it here, create background maze. Okay, so where's that calling? Yeah, see, okay, it's doing it after we did all this stuff. Okay, that's a problem. So what we need to do is we need to go create background maze. And we need to put that before we want to fix maze and then create background maze, right? So let's see if that'll work. Let's see if that'll, good, it looks like it's going to be a problem here. Did it stop here? Okay, so it's going to go like that. It finished fixing the maze, and so now we should have, yep, those are all false, and so now it should actually, yeah, there we go. See, it cleared it out. Awesome. Okay, so then the other thing we need to do is we need to add in a flood fill to come down to there. And let's see. There we go. And the other thing we're probably going to have to figure out is, like I was talking about before, is how these guys, this one's trapped, how these guys are Yeah, we need to figure out how these guys are gonna move because they were messing up. I think we can fix that. Let's go like this. I think we can fix that now. I know what I was doing here. We have, yeah, see, this is doing 1/8. Enemy timer times 1/8. So we can do like 24, and then we can do 1/25, which would be 0.04, right? 0.04. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that leaves them moving smoothly. Yeah, that's much better. Check it out. Okay, they're moving. Yeah. See, now the player can cruise through. So what can happen is with the difficulty, like, you know, you're going to have different POIs of different difficulties. And so the scale is going to change as far as, you know, how fast the player moves, how many enemies there are, how fast the enemies move. But yeah, I think in the, like for the easy doors, you should be able to just, you know, pretty much go through. These guys are just kind of a token presence there. And then, you know, when you've got a more difficult door to get through, you know, and a more difficult, what would that be called? A more difficult POI, then, you know, you've got them moving more quickly and all that stuff. And you could even have more of them. So we could say, let's go to the definition on this. And we could say max enemies equals 14. And let's see what it does here. See if it scales correctly for that. There we go. See, now you've got some issues because you got to try to get through all this. And yeah, see. So this would be more along the type of difficulty. So anyway, yeah, we just got that going. We've got that working. We can bring this back down to maybe 6 or 8 or something like that. But yeah, so the other thing I wanted to do in here, and actually let me think for a minute because I think there was something else I wanted to do. So let me look at my notes and I will be back in a second. Okay, one of the other things I wanted to do here is I want to make it so that the randomly wandering ones, when they run across the player's scent trail, they start following it toward the player. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do this last X is the player's previous positions, and it's only storing 10 of them at the moment. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bump this up to, say, 1600. Let's just say 1600, because that should give plenty. I mean, that's going to be like, you're going to have to go around the maze for a long time to get past that. So we're going to do that, and we're going to start storing the player's last position. Let's see where that is. We're going to find all the references to that so that we can see. What is that? 0 last X equals. Okay. So we're going to use, yeah, see, we're using this T-pointer thing here. And they're using the last X. Okay. So I think we're going to end up changing those too. Yeah, we're going to have to end up changing those too. We're basically just going to make it so that instead of doing that, they're just going to pick a spot that's somewhere like randomly within a radius of the player, I think, instead of doing all of these. And so we're going to end up changing that later. And so what I want to do is we want to draw all of the players' previous. Let me see what that is then, because we have last X and last Y, and that's gonna go last pointer. Okay, so we have last pointer also is the thing, but I think we'll just go last X length is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go like, where'd that go? So this one is actually storing all of the players' positions. We just need to draw them. So let's go over to our pick repaint, and we're going to do that before we draw the player. So we're going to go cent trail, and so we're going to go for int I equals 0, I is less than last x dot length, I plus plus, and then we're going to do a fill ellipse. Can we do a draw ellipse without the fill? I think that might help. Let's see, let's go draw ellipse. Dot draw, yeah, draw ellipse. There we go, and this is going to be pens dot green. There we go, and then we're going to go last x I and last y I, and then we're going to do the standard width, so we'll just let it do that. And why don't we go light green, see if there's a light green. There's light blue, light green, there we go. Okay, I did have it spelled right. Okay, so now it should draw where the player's been. See, it's drawing them all up in the corner now. What is it doing? Weird. Huh. It's only drawing them at a small fraction of the scale. So let's go like this. Last x. Oh, you know what? Times W. Herder, right? Times W. There we go. Okay, let's try this now. Whoops. Take that out. And there we go. All right. See, now it's going to show where the player's been. Cool. And the player's stuck there, isn't he? Okay. So then what we can do is we can have the, if they're in wander mode and they happen to run across one of those, then they're going to start following. So what we're going to do is, this is just going to be for debug mode. So we're going to go into where are the dudes moving? Is trail. Let's go over here. I think this is it. Yeah, we're finding the enemy movement here. So they're trying to, here we go, follow the player's trail. That one, just wander, here's the random target. Okay, so this is which type? Strategy equals 3. It must be 3. Enemy. Yeah, enemy strategy equals 3. So 0 is go at the target, ahead of them, behind them, and then random. Okay, so yeah, it's if enemy strategy equals 3, then when we're moving them, we've done our search here, and we want to actually move them. Enemy trail position. Where's our enemy? Okay, here we go. Here is our where the enemy is actually moving. So now they've actually moved. Check for collision with players sent trail. So we're going to do that here. We're going to move this down here. And we're going to go if Nope, that's not what I was looking for. If enemy strategy I equals 3, that's the random wandering one. Put that. And we're going to go, let's think about this for a second. We're going to check to see if it's, we're going to go int ex equals enemy x, and then we're going to go enemy y. So we're putting this in this so that each time we don't have to look up an array. So it's just going to have this, because if you do this every single time you compare this, you're going to look up this value in an array and it gets messy, or it just gets slow. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go for equals, do we want to start at the beginning? Equals, what is the pointer? The player pointer? Last pointer, there we go. For int I equals last pointer. No, we don't want to use I. Duh. P is last pointer, and then P is greater than 0, and P minus minus. So we're going to start at the most recent position that the player has been at, so that way we can start at that point. And what we're going to do is we're going to go if last x p, isn't last x a, isn't last x, I thought last x was a, let's see, there we go, last x, I'm like, thought that was a valid array, equals ex and last y p equals ey. So if those are the same, not sure why it did, it's calculating. If those are the same, then we're going to enemy strategy I equals 4. I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to set that to 4, and then we're going to go enemy trail position, because it's not going to need its own trail anymore. So enemy trail position I equals last equals P, because that's going to be the position in the player's trail that we're going to follow. So if you see what we're doing here, the last x and last y array stores the positions that the player is in. So this is the most recent, and over back at 0 is at the very beginning. And so we're going to check through all of these, and we find a match on the x and y position of the current enemy and the last positions of the player, the breadcrumb trail. Then we're going to start at that point, which is P, in the array, and the enemy is just going to start doing that instead of doing its regular old movement thing. And so we're going to have to go back up to here. We're going to have to go back up to here, and when we do the player movement thing, or the enemy movement thing, we're going to have to, instead of telling it to follow its own trail, we're going to have it follow its the player's trail. So let's do that up here. I think we're going to have to put it here, because this is what? That's all the calculating stuff. So we're going to go, let me see here, if enemy trail or enemy strategy, else, so we're going to go if enemy strategy I equals 3. because we don't want to do this if it's 4. So if it's 4, it's just gonna I'm trying to think of what we want to do if it's 4. If enemy strategy I is less than 4, then we're going to do all this stuff. And so we're going to go all the way down to here, where that closes off. There. Is that right? Assemble the trail from the last position to the target. Okay, we're still going to skip all that stuff too, because we don't need to do that. Is that on this line here? There. I think that's right. I'm really hoping we didn't just screw all that up. And we'll know it, and we'll know it pretty quickly. So if enemy strategy equals 4, we're going to do this stuff, else we're going to do this stuff. So we're going to go all the way down to here. Are we going to check for collisions? Yeah, we're going to do all that. Okay. So we're going to take this out. And we're going to go down to the bottom of this one here. There we go. Okay, so this is all the stuff we're going to do if it's not 4. Okay, so so our checking for collisions with player is going to need to be outside this. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to have to be outside this. Just organizing all this in my head. So yeah, once it moves, we're going to check each time. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to go, we need to make that an array. And so if our strategy is 4, which is the following player sent trail, then what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to go like, we need to do all this stuff. We're going to go enemy xi. We're going to go enemy trail position I plus plus. So we're going to go up by 1, which is going to move it toward the player, and then we're going to go enemy x I equals, what is that, last x, and then enemy trail position I. So we're going to do this. So this is going to go one more move toward the player each time it moves, and we'll see if this will help. Now the other thing that we're probably going to want to do is we're going to want to make it speed up once it actually starts following the player sent trails, just so it's more dangerous or whatever. But yeah, let's see if this will work, if this is going to crash us and screw everything up or what. We'll see. Let's see what happens when it hits. Did I do something here? Apparently I put a breakpoint there. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Whoa. That's kind of a problem. Not sure what that dude's doing. Let's see what happens here. I need a way to indicate which ones are which. Let's see, can we go here? Yeah, we can. I need a way to indicate which ones are the bad guys. I don't know what's going on with that dude. It looks like none of them are following the scent trail now. So I don't think that know what that dude's problem is. That is really messed up. Okay, let's see what happened here. And all right, where is that going to be? That's going to be in the main loop thing. Yeah, we're going to have to figure that out. And actually, I think we're out of time for today. So I'm going to take a look at this and see if I can do some troubleshooting and figure it out. And we will start next episode 12, and I'll show you what I figured out and where we're going to go from there. So yeah, that's going to be it for number 11, and we'll see you guys in number 12. Later.